I want to thank everybody for coming in and taking some time out of a beautiful summer day to have a conversation about the Alabama Water Institute, our strategic plan, and our plans for moving forward. So for the folks in the room and the folks online, again, I want to say thank you. I want to go through a few slides and give people the basics and go through that and then open up for some questions and answers. But before I do that, I want to introduce a couple key people here. First of all, Mike Gramillion, who served 27 years in the Air Force, is here. He's in the front row. Mike is my deputy. I'm a big believer in succession planning. So if anything happens to me, if I get hit by a car walking someplace in Tuscaloosa, I know that Mike can pick up AWI and move it forward. And the great news that we got this past week in Mike's domain is that the Global Water Security Center was approved by the Board of Trustees. So I'm going to tell you, it's a big deal. This is going to present tremendous opportunities for faculty members, right, to take science and operationalize it, right, in a realm where we need better information and we need better ways to convey to people what water risk means in the geopolitical sphere. Okay? And Mike and I know from our backgrounds that this is an area that is ripe for growth. Given a changing climate, a changing geopolitical environment, we really got to address this. The other person in the room that I want to introduce is Dr. Steve Burrian. Steve's coming to us from the University of Utah. I should say he's an undergraduate of Notre Dame. I don't hold that against him. But he does have a master's and a PhD from Alabama. So Steve, welcome. And while he's here physically now, he's actually going to start August 1st. He's moving out from Utah. And so I can say right now, it's a great day for the Institute. And I want to thank Russ Mumper and my folks in VP for Office of Research and Economic Development for helping get these folks here. And this is the beginning. It's not the end. There's more that we're going to try and build and create. So with that, let me take you through some slides. Well, I want to do that, and then we'll open up to questions and answers. And then what I really want to do, I have to step out of the way here so Mike can move his mouse. I want to have a conversation and a dialogue and take any questions you might have and talk about some of the opportunities that are in front of us. And let me just begin that with the strategic plan overview with that thought, which is I'm here because I think there's opportunities. And I hope you think they're there too, because I can tell you we can build them and we can make it happen. And I'm confident of that in a whole bunch of ways. So I want to thank Mike Gramillion and a lot of the faculty members that we talked to talk about a new strategic plan about who we are, what we do well, and where we want to go. Okay? And let me say this up front. Strategic plans without money are a dream. Strategic plans without money are a dream, okay? But you got to plan to get money. And that's what we're trying to do here. So the mission changed, okay? This applied research, training the next generation of scientists, but the actionable, novel solutions for the water secure world, that's where we're going, okay? Yes, we need to do fundamental research, but how do we tease strings out of the fundamental research that we can use operationally? And with NOAA's National Water Center and the U.S. Geological Survey's hydrologic instrumentation facility coming, we have some great opportunities to cross that valley of death from research and operations. That's the mission. The vision, I think, is something that we can all aspire to, right? The internationally recognized as a world-class, multidisciplinary water research institute that provides knowledge and solutions for water problems and issues. That's where we're going. And let me be really clear. I can't do that by myself. Mike Gramillion can't do it. Steve can't do it. No one in this room or online can do it. We got to do it together because the big water problems have got to be solved in an integrated fashion. Next slide. So we know what the affiliated centers are. I was a little nervous showing this slide today because we weren't sure that Mike's center was going to be a part of it yet. Okay, we can now actually say that it's in there, right? It's the orange hexagon down here. I guess we should have made it an orange pentagon in your honor. But these are the centers that are affiliated with AWI, and the idea is how do we integrate them? How do we build that power of integration into what we're doing here from our research and transition it into federal operational agencies, regional consortiums that can use that data? I have to pay attention to Alabama because they're paying my salary, but we also want to go beyond our borders internationally, and that's where a lot of the work that Steve has done in Pakistan, that Mike has done with the Air Force, we think there's capabilities we can take domestically, learn, and extend. Next slide. So these are the 4 themes. I will say that when we came up with these in our first cut, working with faculty members, we got great feedback. They're incredibly important in terms of kind of where we're going. I don't think any of these are a surprise, okay? Modeling and remote sensing, gotta have it, and we do have great capability here. Integrated water resource assessment should surprise no one. Management of water hazards, and then this last piece of water security and risk communication. I want to talk about that risk communication piece because when I look around this organization, I see a lot of hard scientists. We have to take the hard science and translate that into terms people can understand. True story, right? Most staff on Capitol Hill are not trained scientists, okay? In the current House of Representatives, I believe there's 2 PhDs, okay? There's not even one in the Senate. I will give Joe Biden credit. His wife is a PhD, right? So we have to translate that science so people can use it and convey what it really means. And I'm telling you that this is something we're working on. And in fact, we're looking, Mike, Steve, and I are working with Russ Mumper's group and John Higginbotham to see if we can potentially get a trip up to Washington to talk to some people. I intend to start bringing you faculty members to go meet with people in Washington, program managers, congressional staff, so they hear it from you, okay? I trust that you know your information and that you can get in there and convey a really good message, and Mike and I will help you do this, okay? Because the best thing for us to do is to take people and show the talent we have. But these are the themes, and I actually think you're going to find that some of the work that we intend to do with NOAA in the future and with the USGS align very nicely with these themes. I don't think that was an accident. Next slide, please. Okay, so what are we doing in modeling and remote sensing? Here's the objective, right? Improving these models, okay? And in the end, if we improve these things, we protect life and property. We're contributing to that mission. That's a great mission to be a part of. Nonpartisan, everybody likes to protect lives and property. So for us, this makes a lot of sense. We have strengths. I will say in the next generation of hydrologic models, this comes from discussions that we've had with NOAA and USGS, and I'll say Mike has talked to other people in the defense and 3-letter communities. We know we need it. This remote sensing piece and novel sensors is really critical. Groundwater modeling, again, this shouldn't surprise anybody. We just have some great papers published coming from Natasha Domova in this space area. All makes sense. Again, nothing surprising. And then water quantity and quality modeling, okay, in response to changes in the environment. This is something that we think is really important, not just from a public policy standpoint, but when you look at multinational corporations like Coca-Cola, okay, they want to know what water quality and water quantity looks like in the countries that they are engaged in selling their products. And I learned something in my past, right? Coca-Cola sells 1.6 billion products a day. I just want 2% of their take for our research, and I'll be very happy, and you're going to help me get it. Okay, next slide, please. Integrated water resource assessment, okay? And again, basic understandings to inform programs and policies. Let me say that again, programs and policies. Policy isn't going to be part of what we get to. How do we make better decisions with scarce resources, okay? And we intend, by the way, to bring in folks from Culverhouse and the business school to help in this, as well as, I'll say, Heather Elliott in the law school has been fantastic. She really wants to engage over there. I think folks know Bennett Bearden. We want, again, taking the science and translating it for the different communities that can use it. So policies reduce impact on water quantity, quality, threatened and endangered species, health and ecosystem function. I should say from my past at NOAA, I just have to pay homage to threatened and endangered species. At NOAA, we managed fish. Most people don't know, but fish is a 4-letter word that starts with F. Now, I say that because it's very difficult to manage. And with a changing environment out there, fisheries are going to become even more complex to manage. And fish like salmon in the Pacific Northwest, they're a symbol of ecological health to that region. And they need help, okay? I want us to think about what are the parallels in the Gulf Coast in terms of what do we think is a sign of successful conservation or successful ecosystem health. So again, we're looking at drinking water treatment. I think we've got some great stuff in there. Low-cost sewage treatment. I think people have seen the work that Mark Elliott's done in the Black Belt. We intend to grow that. Water quality and health conditions, monitoring, modeling. And then this ecosystem function management, which to me is, we are getting into the realm where we can do ecosystem forecasting. I think with the arrival of USGS and some of the NOAA work, there's going to be some great opportunities in this space to marry physical observations with biology and start doing things. For instance, Bazad's work with the Mobile Bay River Observatory. How do we balance all the competing interests? Well, we use better data to do that. Well, how do we get that data? And that's putting in an observing system down there that will then start feeding better decision processes. Next slide. Theme 3, management of water hazards. These are some of my favorite. I should say, we talk about these predictive tools. I'm somebody who was flooded out of my house in Colorado in 2013. That was a horrible forecast. Okay, absolutely horrible forecast. Okay? No one saw that flood coming, which is why NCAR, part of my former employer, they started putting together the Wharf Hydro model after that flood because that forecast was so bad. Now, that's going to change. But how do we manage this coastal flooding? Okay, I should say that I think that's a great issue for us to address, particularly in the Gulf as a regional issue. Flood and drought forecasting is something I'm very familiar with. I have to do disclosure. If you've used anything from the National Integrated Drought Information System, that's something I started in a previous life. It's a climate service. Let's call it what it is. And we need more climate services to explain to people, hey, this is a climate forecast or climate impact. Drought, and the flip side, the flip side of drought that we get out of Nidus is forest fire. I got a call from somebody this morning in Colorado. I don't know if you've heard, Montana's burning. They've already got a 25,000 acre fire up in Montana by Missoula. Get ready. This is June, okay? The heat of the summer, people here tell me, God help me, it hasn't arrived, but the West is burning. Well, we have to think about, in Alabama, what are our solutions to help people out there, okay? We should be thinking bigger than just Alabama. Impacts of water hazards is a big deal. I think, folks, this is pretty intuitive, right? Forest, crops, habitats, and species. And then the development of these predictive tools. Some of you know that USGS is looking at the idea of using eDNA in stream gauges. There's a lot of potential for watershed management that we can bring in this space that no one else. If we do it here first, we can take it and deploy it across the country through USGS. So that's exciting, and we'll talk some more about that afterwards. And next slide, please. And so this one, water security and risk communication. We're working already with CAPS to do some of this, but we've really got to talk about what risk is. And I say this right. I don't know how many folks have heard this, and I apologize if I'm repeating right, but there's really 3 legs to a great forecast. We get the science right. We create a product that we put out there for the public. And what do we have? We have an educated citizenry that says, by God, there's risk, I have to take it. I'm going to give you a great example. Okay? Coming out of the NOAA world, I was here in April with my daughters, and we had the tornado warnings. I take those very seriously. I was kind of shocked at how many people were walking on campus. Okay? Why did I take those seriously and others didn't? If we cannot convey to people to take the appropriate action to protect themselves, we've got to find out how to do that. Okay? And I will say that there's some people who've looked at phased array radar for tornado outbreaks and said it's the future. It gives you an hour lead time. But there's some social science studies that actually say that's too much time, right? Oh, I'm going to leave the laundry in, or you know what? I'm going to go get gas before the tornado hits. Okay? We've got to think about this. One of my favorite ones about risk communication when I was at NOAA was the Turn Around, Don't Drown campaign. Has everyone heard of that campaign? Turn Around, Don't Drown? Sage is nodding his head. All right. That was put in the demographic. What's the number one demographic of people killed in flash floods in the United States? Okay. Yeah, it's white males and 4x4 pickup trucks. Oh, I can get through that stream. No, you can't. Your tires are going to float your vehicle, it's going to flip, and we're going to find you downstream. We have to convey with a sense of urgency, but we also have to help citizens understand why we're being urgent. How do you take action to address that? So this is a piece that's more of the social science piece, but we have to have it. And I think that this is an area right now that the country struggles with. It struggles regionally, and I think this is a great place for us to start regionally about how do we address it. So with that, let's go. I think that's the last slide. Stay. We have one more slide. And so metrics of success. So like everybody else, I have a boss. So whenever I think of metrics, I think of bosses. And I should do disclosure. I work for Jim Watkins, who is the former Chief of Naval Operations and the former Secretary of Energy. I work for Connie Lautenbacher at NOAA. They always would talk about cost, schedule, and performance. Give me some metrics. So that's going to be really important. So when I look at my metrics, just what I get graded on, how do I serve Alabama, the region, the nation, and I'll say our global partners. Okay? And that's why the strategic plan is kind of built like it is. And if we had these 4 pillars that we talked about, that's what I get graded on. Expanding the water research, development, innovation portfolio. Expanding that portfolio is about money. Okay? So my job is to help you find opportunities or create opportunities for you to get money. And Mike and I get it, Steve gets it, and we think that there's some tremendous opportunities. And then the third one is communicating the impact and our impact and our future opportunities for engagement with stakeholders. And this is really important. I think that you're going to see a lot of things growing. I've done work with folks in these rooms with industry. Okay, how do we take our research and port it over into places like the Water Center, okay, but into state level organizations and into industry, okay? Because what we'd really like to do is take some of our intellectual property, harness it, and use it to grow jobs, better policies here in Alabama and across the region, and make things grow. So, in a nutshell, this is where the strategic plan is. It's been approved, it's gone out. I want to thank everybody who participated in the process to make this happen. I have been told that I don't have to update it for 5 years. We'll see if that really happens. I do have to give a report, just so you know, I have an accounting to Russ Mumper, where I have to explain to Russ, hey, this is what we did to achieve our objectives and goals over the last year. And I can tell you that, I'm not going to say this, I'm going to say this since it's come out wrong, but kind of with COVID moving into the past, now we have some opportunities to be face-to-face. And I have to tell you, it's nice to see people. It's nice to be with people. Because after the past year, I mean, it's kind of lonely. I call the phrase getting zoomed out. I think everybody got zoomed out at some point. But it's nice to be back with people. And I think there's a lot of opportunities coming forward that we can charge into. So thank you, all of you, for your time, your input, your attention. I'm very grateful to be here. And I look forward to meeting with as many of you as I can in the next couple months, just to get a little more boots on the ground for myself. So thank you.